In Daytona Beach, Florida, and we're going to present to you today a first generation Bronco, 1967 if I remember correctly. Paint on this car is really above a driver quality paint job on it. The paint is very nice and flat. There's no real imperfections in it. It just presents itself as much better than a driver quality paint job, and certainly much better than the paint that Ford put on this car back in that era. If you look, the seams, gaps on both sides of the hood and at the back by the cowl area, everything on this car lines up as it should. The grille is painted white, the bumper painted white the same way. It's a base vehicle. This is not a sport edition. It's a base vehicle, and it's as original as you will ever find one of these guys. It houses its, we'll show you shortly here, it's a small block Ford engine, V8. Bronco designation on the side. It has the correct wiper. You can't see it because it's ready for Christmas delivery here, but it has its correct wiper arms and blades on it. There's no marks on the front windshield. The trim around the windshield is nice and fresh. The paint fitment around the hinge where these are normally deteriorated, this has no deterioration whatsoever, absolutely none. Going down the side, you can see that the gaps on the door, front and back, are just as nice and linear as can be. The hinges have no chip marks whatsoever on them paint-wise. And see how the doors fit? Usually you have a fitment problem with these early Broncos. This car does not have that. Absolutely not. The door is open somewhat, so we're going to open it the rest of the way. But the interior is an original type interior. 3-speed on the column. It is a stick shift, but it's a 3-speed in the column. It looks like an automatic shifter in the center. That's for the transfer case, high and low range, 4-wheel drive. The interior is just exemplary in it. The seat has all been redone the way it should be. The door panels are nice contrast with the blue and the white. The door gaps themselves, I'm going to show you here in a second. Nice fitment. Everything fits just like it should. The side windows are just standard glass, they're not tinted, but you can see that the felts around them are really nice. It has a rear view mirror on this side, none on the other side. Paint on the top is a creamy white color that would be correct for a Ford color back in that era. Same deal on this. I mean, the car is just as straight and nice as you'd hope to find. The wheels and hubcaps are the original style wheels and hubcaps with the red circles on them, the way they came from the factory in that era. Also turnout hubs in the front, 15-inch. I believe they're 225 75 15s. White wall tires, single gas tank in the rear, no auxiliary tank in the front. Like I said, it's kind of a base vehicle equipment-wise, but certainly condition-wise, it's much better than a standard offering on these vehicles for this era. You can see also the way the quarter panel fits the tail section here. Everything fits as it should. Really straight down the sides. Again, the doors line up as you'd hope they would. And just a nice car so far. We haven't found anything really out of place. You go around the back, and again, the gaps on the tailgate the same way. There's no dents or, a couple little in the floor of the trunk here, there are a few dents from things being put in it through the years. Nothing on the wheel well. Spare tire is still where it's supposed to be, hung in the bed of the vehicle. The paint on this thing is just exemplary. There's no deterioration whatsoever. Again, the gap on this side is nice and even the way it should be. Bumper fitment, as you can see, is just as straight and nice and linear as it could possibly be. I don't see anything along the line on this thing, absolutely nothing. Ford painted on the way it would be from the factory. Standard taillight assemblies, there's no trim around them with the base package like this. Going down the passenger side, same thing as the driver's side. You can see fitment is just exemplary on this. Absolutely as nice as you could ever find. Door opens on this side. You can see the doors are just as nice and clean as can ever hope to find. Same thing with the jambs on the inside. Everything is nice and fresh and clean. Door actuator and window crank, same way. Nice and fresh chrome on them. Sun visor still intact and original equipment style. Just a really straight, nice vehicle. Everything closes like it should. Gaps on the doors, just like it was on the driver's side, just as nice and linear as can possibly be. I don't see anything on this thing that's out of line. Absolutely nothing. Trim around the windows the same way as it was on the other side. You look down the side of the vehicle, it's the same as the driver's side. Everything is just laser straight on this. There's no, there's really nothing to show you imperfection-wise in the paint or the fit or the finish on this vehicle. Really as straight a vehicle as you could possibly hope to find. Nice originality with the wheels and tire combination and hubcaps, and just the way it came from Ford in 1967. Open the hood and see what we can show you there. Okay, small block Ford. Appears to be the original engine that came in the car. I don't know serial number wise. But you can see the way everything is underneath this vehicle. There's no deterioration whatsoever, absolutely none, under the hood or the cowl area, which normally there is deterioration at that area in the back. There's absolutely none of this. Correct air cleaner for this guy. Correct auto-like carburetor 2-barrel with the original tab still on it yet. The build tab. Correct Ford distributor on it. It has a shut-off on the battery for whenever you're storing the car. Correct radiator and fan and shroud for this vehicle also. Radiator reservoir, Fomico bag for the windshield washer solvent, Ford hoses. Everything is correct as it would have been from Ford in 1967 when this car was released. It doesn't have a set of exhaust headers on it. It still retains its original cast iron configuration. There's no leakage whatsoever evident from the valve pan covers or the intake manifold or anything on the front of the engine. Everything appears to be as tight as can be. We'll get a better look once we get underneath it. But this car has a lot of originality to it with the air cleaner, the engine compartment, and the entire presentation on the outside as far as the paint and fitment goes. Fantastic looking vehicle. We're going to get under it and go for a ride yet and see what we can show you. Okay, this is the underside of our first generation Bronco, 1967. Really straight looking vehicle. Drum brakes in the front and in the rear. Everything in the front appears to be nice and fresh, nicely greased. Steering box. Shocks are newer shocks, replacement sometime through the years. Not brand new, but certainly don't need replacement. New U-joints on the front drive shaft on it. No leaks whatsoever on the front differential or the engine or the bell housing or the transmission. Let's keep going. Or the transfer case. All of them are leak-free at this point, as you can see. There's absolutely no oil leakage, seepage whatsoever. New starter. Very, very new starter just put on the vehicle. The exhaust system is the correct 2-into-1 single pipe that Ford used for these as a standard equipment exhaust system. The brake lines and the fuel lines are all original equipment. Park and brake still hooked up and functional. The rear drive shaft has new U-joints on it. Also, it's a Tom's Bronco part, so it has a new balanced drive shaft with new U-joints on it. Floor pans themselves are very, very nice. There's no deterioration whatsoever on the frame structure part of this or the floor pans. It's original here, original through the center. There's one section here on the driver floor that has been replaced for some reason. It's a small section and it's done correctly. Certainly nothing to concern yourself with, but I just want to point out it has been replaced. Rocker panel solid and nice as could possibly find. Frame again, there's no deterioration, there's no scale, no issues whatsoever with the frame on this vehicle. The bed part is absolutely as new as it was in 1967. There's no deterioration. The springs themselves have a nice curvature to them, a nice arch. Again, the rear shocks have been replaced, and everything on this vehicle inside the rear fender wells is nice and clean and fresh. There's no deterioration on the back part of the bed sides or rocker panels, whatever you want to call them. 9-inch heavy-duty Ford rear end in this vehicle, and also no leakage whatsoever on it. There's absolutely none. Again, the single pipe exhaust going out through the back. Still retains its original skid plate over the gas tank, which I'm sure is still the original tank in this vehicle. Everything on this, even the spring shackles in the rear, are just as nice and fresh and clean as you'd hope to ever see on a vehicle. There's no deterioration whatsoever on them. A lot of originality under here. Everything is nicely cleaned up and painted semi-flat black with chassis paint. No leakage again. Nice straight, undisrupted undercarriage for this 67 Bronco. We're going to go for a ride, see how this guy runs. Okay, our first generation Bronco, 1967. Really, really neat vehicle. Turn signal left, just beating itself to death over here. Turn signal right, very, very faint, but it is blinking, and you can hear it blinking, but you can see it here. Let's see, this is something very unique Devin and I just found. This is the driver's wiper, working as it should. Now check this out. Now you have to turn on the passenger's wiper. Of course you can have them both on at the same time if you want, but they do work individually. Let's see here, horn. Horn's working great, just the way it's supposed to work. Gas gauge is showing us a half a tank, or fairly close. Oil pressure's up about 60 pounds. The amp meter is working as it should, and the temperature gauge is just starting to come up. We just started up. It's up to 125, 130 degrees already. So we're going to go for a ride here and see what this guy runs like. But so far everything looks really good. I mean, everything's working as it should. There's no radio in the vehicle. Kind of a base. Oh, fan. Let's try the fan. Fan is working for the blower. How about that? All speeds too. There's high speed and low speed and medium. How about that? All right, we're going to go for a ride. So, temperature's up to about 165 degrees right now. It's showing we're running 40 mile an hour. We're in a 40 mile an hour zone, but you can see the vehicle just tracks just as nice and straight as you want to go with it. Doesn't pull. We'll put the brakes on here in a second. Well, that's how these cars go. See if it pulls whenever I put brakes on. Nope. Straight as an arrow. Go tree to tree. Speedometer doesn't jump, and it goes down the road straight as can be. We're 45, 50 mile an hour. Well, let's see, there's 50. Just a nice tracking vehicle. There's no noises, no shakes, shimmies, rattles, squeaks, nothing. This is a really nice, tight first-gen Bronco. Everything works as it should. Limited options, but everything does work as it should. Again, the turn signal's working. Up to 60-some mile an hour, you can see, and we're still going 60, and we'll let off for a while. car runs nice. It doesn't pull or shake or shimmy or squeak or do anything out of line. It pulls admirably for what it is. It's a small block Ford. I'm not sure whether these were 289s or 302s back in that era, but at any rate, the car just runs very, very nice. Nice straight tracking. Ooh, we're going to aim it the right direction. A nice straight tracking car. Whoever gets this is going to get a exceptionally well done first generation Bronco. A very basic vehicle in a pickup truck style, which really has a lot of look to it, a lot of charisma, and just a fantastic vehicle. It's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and it can be yours.